So here is MSFT Microsoft. This finishes at $283 today. That is up 4.81%. Please like the video, please subscribe, and catch me every weekday after market close on the Smarter Gambling Show. So here is FB, Facebook, Meta Platforms. This finishes at $175 today. That is down 3.32%.
And it's gone.
But here in the aftermarket, looks like they had good earnings. So this is pretty surprising because the consensus was that earnings were going to be terrible, that Facebook was going to be Netflix 2.0. But yeah, it looks like we got some pretty good earnings here, and Facebook is still alive. So let's go ahead and check out the earnings. So EPS was $2.72, which beat the estimate of $2.57, and revenue was $27.91 billion, which missed the estimate of $28.21 billion. So honestly, the earnings weren't anything special. Slight beat on EPS, slight miss on revenue. So I'm not really quite sure why the stock is going up so much here in the aftermarket. Maybe because, again, the consensus was that this was going to miss heavily. So average earning, but a lot better than expected, I guess. They say that monthly active users are 2.94 billion, up 3% year over year, and daily active users are at 1.96 billion, up 4% year over year. And guidance for Q2 revenue is $28 to $30 billion, which is in line with the estimates. So yeah, Facebook is getting more users, and that was a big concern because people were afraid that they were going to lose users. So there you have it, guys. Decent earnings, not anything too special, but market liked it, and the stock is pumping pretty hard here in the aftermarket, over $200 now. So let's go ahead and analyze here. So first of all, this appears to be a cup and handle in the making. Bottom of the cup being 169, and there can be multiple possible tops. It can be 218, 241, 251, 328, 339, 353, or even the high of 384. But those are all bullish indicators that is telling us that the stock should come back up to one of those tops to complete the cup. So short and long terms, the cup and handle looks bullish right now. And in the aftermarket here, this is pumping up to 202. So that is a bullish indicator for tomorrow. That is suggesting that the stock will run to the upside tomorrow as well. And then we do have a double gap down. First gap down is at 316. So that's a bullish indicator. That is telling us that the stock should come back up to 316 eventually to fill this gap. May take a while, but eventually it should. And then we have another gap down at 231. So another bullish indicator that is telling us that the stock should eventually come back up to 231 to fill this gap. And that may happen pretty soon, actually. And if this aftermarket action holds, there will be a new gap up tomorrow created at 181. So that would be a bearish indicator that is telling us that the stock should come back down to 181 to fill this gap. And if you guys want to follow along, the link to the chart is in the description down below. So right now this is sitting on the support of 174, which it finished around today. So if this goes to the upside, next levels of resistance would be 179, 182, 187, 192, 195, 200, 204, 207, 209, 214, 218, 221, 224, 228, 231, 234, 237, 241, 248, and then 251. There is resistance above 251, but we're not going to discuss that right now. And if this goes to the downside, next levels of support would be 169, 164, 159, 153, and then 150. There is support below 150, but we're not going to discuss that right now. So right now at this current price, 175, the channels to the upside and the downside are pretty wide, so expect significant price action either way this goes. However, if/when this breaks 218 to the upside, the channel starts to narrow. So expect a significant decrease in price action if/when this breaks 218 to the upside. RSI is currently at 28. Well, it was at least back at 175. So it's probably higher than that now. But that is an oversold and undervalued territory. So this could be a good buying opportunity. Not financial advice. And this did 65 million in volume today. Very significant volume. Way above the average of 22 million. So this pump today was confirmed by the volume. Alright guys, just my opinion, not financial advice. So this one is fairly obvious to me. I know there's a lot of FUD saying that Facebook is done, but they're not going anywhere. They're too big to fail at this point. It'll have its day again. So very strong bullish indicators in the cup and handle. Double gap down, low RSI, aftermarket action. looks pretty strong, looks pretty bullish in the short and long terms. So therefore, if you want to go long, not financial advice. So you missed your chance at 175. That would have been an excellent entry. But even at 204, that's still a pretty good entry. Still a lot of upside to go. So from this current price, 205, up to 317 where the gap is, that's about a 150% upside. A lot of long-term upside potential, and it should even go higher than that. So missed a really excellent entry, but 205, still really good entry. So I can't support going long at 205 and lower. And if it pulls back below 205, then you can just average down at the supports that I mentioned before. But personally, I do think this will pull back down to 181 because, like I said before, a new gap up is going to be created if this aftermarket action holds. So if you really want an excellent entry, I would try to get this back at 181. But nothing wrong with going long at 205. I would say going long here would be a low risk, high reward play. Not too much more downside potential and a lot of upside potential. Now, if you want to go short, not financial advice, I would not do that. I would not recommend that. Don't really see a reason why you would do that. Again, really strong bullish indicators in the short and long terms, and this is a 1-year low. So I think you missed your chance going short here already. Should have went short anywhere in the $300 or $200 range. Here at 207, you're a little too late. Don't know why you would do that. A lot of upside potential, and you're probably going to get burned here on the short side. So I would say going short here would be a high risk, low reward play. You can make about 10% because I do think this will pull back down to 181, but this is a blue chip stock. Just way too risky in my opinion. Way too much upside versus the downside potential here. So the risk is not worth the reward. Not a smart idea. Please don't do that, guys. So pretty straightforward here. Earnings weren't that great, but I guess exceeded expectations. So short and long terms, the chart looks really bullish. So I can't support going long. Pretty good entry here at 207, although this may come back down to 181, and I think that'd be a really excellent entry, and I don't recommend going short here. I think that's a really bad idea. Really no reason to do that. So congratulations to everyone who made money in the stock today, and good luck to everyone currently in the stock and to everyone looking to take a position. This is FB, Facebook, Meta Platforms. So here is MSFT Microsoft. This finishes at $283 today. That is up 4.81%. So this had earnings yesterday. Didn't cover it yesterday, but we're going to get to it today. Yeah, they were pretty good. And today we're getting a lot of price adjustments. So let's go over all of that right now. So EPS was $2.22, which beat the estimate of $2.20. So slight EPS beat there. And revenue was $49.4 billion, which beat the estimate of $49 billion. So slight beat on both EPS and revenue there. So good earnings. And they released their guidance for Q4. And it's supposed to be in the low $50 billion. And then we have a bunch of price adjustments here. So let's start with the upgrades. Wolf upgrades to $350, Citi upgrades to $364, Bernstein $367, Griffin $382, and BMO $345. And now for the downgrades, Wedbush downgrades to $340, Deutsche Bank $350, Stifel $350, Evercore $330, and Atlantic $350. So mixed opinions for the hedge funds, but they all believe that Microsoft should be in the mid to high 300s. So yeah, good earnings. Market liked it. Apes liked it. Everyone jumping in here, buying the stock. Up almost 5% today. Very nice. So let's go ahead and analyze here. So first of all, this appears to be a cup and handle in the making. Bottom of the cup being about 270. And there can be multiple possible tops. It can be 293, 307, 316, 324, 345, or even the high of 350. But those are all bullish indicators. That is telling us that the stock should come back up to one of those tops to complete the cup. And over here on the MACD, the moving average convergence divergence, the MACD line is reversing and looks like it's going to cross the signal line pretty soon. So that's a bullish indicator that is telling us it may be time to buy. In the aftermarket here, this is pumping up to 286. So that's a bullish indicator for tomorrow. That is suggesting that tomorrow the stock will continue to run to the upside. We do have a double gap down. First gap down at 310, so that's a bullish indicator. That is telling us that the stock should eventually come back up to 310 to fill this gap. And then we have another gap down at 296. So another bullish indicator that is telling us that the stock should come back up to 296 eventually to fill this gap. And then we do have a gap up at 278. So that's a bearish indicator that is telling us that the stock should come back down to 278 to fill this gap. And if you guys want to follow along, the link to the chart is in the description. So right now this is sitting on the support of 283, which it finished at today. So if this goes to the upside, next levels of resistance would be 285, 286, 287, 289, 290, 292, 293, 295, 297, 298, 299, 302, 303, 305, 306, 307, 310, 312, 314, and then 316. There is resistance above 316, but we're not going to discuss that right now. And if this goes to the downside, next levels of support would be 282, 281, 279, 278, 276, 272, 269, 266, 265, 263, 260, 258, 257, 254, 252, and then 250. There is support below 250, but we're not going to discuss that right now. So right now at this current price, 283, the channels to the upside and the downside are pretty decently sized, so expect a normal amount of price action either way this goes. However, if/when this breaks 299 to the upside, the channel starts to open up and get wider, so expect a significant increase in price action if/when this breaks 299. And to the downside, if/when this breaks 276, the channel starts to open up and get pretty wide, so expect a significant increase in price action if/when this breaks 276. RSI is currently at 46, so pretty average there, a little bit below average. So according to the RSI, the current price of 283 should be a little bit higher. And this did 63 million in volume today. Very significant volume, way above the average of 28 million. So this pump today was confirmed by the volume. Okay guys, just my opinion, not financial advice. So in the short and long terms, this stock does look pretty bullish. We got some very strong bullish indicators in the cup and handle, double gap down, MACD, aftermarket action. Only bearish indicator is the gap up, and we have a neutral indicator in the RSI. This is Microsoft, blue chip stock, not going anywhere. So therefore, if you want to go long, not financial advice, 283 is already a pretty decent entry. Not the greatest entry, but pretty good, above average entry. And you really can't go too wrong buying in at 283, especially if you're holding this for the long term. So I would support going long at 283 and lower, and if it pulls back below 283, then you can just average down at the supports that I mentioned before. Personally, I would try to get this back at 278. I do think it will come back down there to fill this gap. So if you want a really good price, I would hold off to 278, but you really can't go too wrong at 283. So from the current price, 283, up to 310, where the gap is, that's about a 10% upside. And eventually this should come back up to the all-time high, 350, to complete the cup, which would be about a 25% upside. So a good amount of upside potential here. 10 to 25% upside, and not too much downside. So I would say going long here would be a low risk, medium reward play. Yeah, definitely worth a shot. Really can't go too wrong. Now, if you want to go short, not financial advice, I would not do that. I would not recommend that. I think you're a little bit too late to go short here. Should have went short in the 300s, high 200s. Here at 283, there's not too much more downside. Again, I do think this will pull back down to 278 to fill this gap. So from this current price, 283 down to 278, that's only less than a 2% downside, so really shouldn't have too much more downside potential, and a good amount of upside potential. So I would say going short here would be a medium risk, low reward play. Just not really worth it in my opinion. Really no point in going short here. The reward does not outweigh the risk. So yeah, going short here looks like a bad idea. Please don't do that, guys. Alright, so pretty straightforward. Good earnings, not great, but beat expectations. The hedge funds think that this should be around the high $300 range. So the stock looks really bullish in the short and long terms. Should pull back a little bit to fill the gap. So if you want to go long, I can't support that. 283, really good entry. And if you want to hold off for a little bit, maybe you can get a little bit better. And really no reason to go short here. Not too much more downside potential and a good amount of upside potential. So congratulations to everyone who made money in the stock today. And good luck to everyone currently in the stock and to everyone looking to take a position. This is MSFT Microsoft. Thanks everyone for watching today. I appreciate you guys. Please like the video. Please subscribe and catch me every weekday after market close on the Smarter Gambling Show. You apes already know, diamond hands to the moon. I'm Ty. This is Smarter Gambling. See you guys tomorrow. Peace out.